Hello, good afternoon. It's not morning, it's afternoon. How's everybody doing today? Just coming on here for a quick stop just to see how everyone was doing. I was out earlier for my fresh air walk, and it is really windy out today. So I decided to talk to you when I got back in. So how's it going? I figure I give people time to get in. I wanted to ask a quick question about what you think about AI, how it is affecting our lives as humans, and if it affects your life at any point in your life. I'm trying to wait for people to come through. If anyone's not familiar with AI, if you're catching this on a replay, AI stands for artificial intelligence. And it's being used more than anyone can ever imagine. I remember them talking about AI, I would say way back in the 70s. You know, they were talking about it, and it seemed like, that's just so far away. Here we are in 2026, and yes, AI is something that is actually happening now. Hey, how are you, Mad Hua? How are you? Thanks for coming through. Hi, The Goat TV. How are you? Thanks for coming through. Welcome to my channel. Please, when you come through, please hit the like button. I'd appreciate it so I could get pushed out into the algorithm. My name is SRCMotherof3. I have 3 children, and I am a retired senior from the professional realm. So I wanted to discuss artificial intelligence versus humans. And using AI, you can use it for creativity, which is great for the social media advantage. But AI is also being used at the professional workplaces. So I just want to give a little chat about that. And AI is becoming very viral. Not only in social media, but like I said, in professional realms. I know we all use some of the AI apps that are out now, such as Canva is one, I believe Sora is another one. ChatGPT, I believe, has AI. And I think YouTube has just come out with an AI creative app for um, their apparatus. Hi, Natalia. How are you? How's it going? I know when you're using AI. Oh, I'm glad you're doing good, Natalia. When you're using AI, you got to remember that when you use AI for anything, remember that it is clean and it is intentional. Okay? You said I upped my phone? What do you mean by that? Hi, Deborah Ray. How are you? I'm glad you came through. I upped my phone, huh? Okay, if you think so. I think it's the same phone, Natalia. Hi, Kajora, Jean Pierre. How are you? Thanks for coming through. I appreciate everyone. Today I wanted to talk about AI. That seems to be very Oh, I'm doing okay, Deborah. I went out earlier. It is so windy out there. It's a beautiful day, but it is very windy. I'm trying to understand what you're typing, Natalia. You said, no, I will. You are be your phone. I kind of don't understand what you're trying to say. You're doing okay? Good. I can't stay that long because I have a meeting a little later. Oh, you're from Poland. Okay, Natalia, I understand. I really do understand. So, um, like I said, when you use AI, it's everything you post, you should feel like it's intentional, clean, and consistent. So just because a lot of people do AI creations, you still have to be mindful of the message that you're trying to send. Okay? Um, Nobody really wants to talk about that part of it, but you must remember everything that's on, even though it's an AI character, there's always a message behind it. So you have to be really careful what message you want your subscriber or even a non-subscriber that comes across your channel, what message you're trying to convey to that person. Because I've seen some of these AIs that are out here on social media now, some of them are pretty graphic. And they say, oh, it's just a cartoon, or, it's just AI. but it's still the message that you're trying to send. And I would compare AI similar to those video games that are out now. Like a lot of those video games that the young people are playing, and I shouldn't say young because some of the older um, people are playing them also. Some of them are so graphic that they have to have um, age limits on the games. Like, I hate to say it, I'm not a video game player. Um, but I remember when my sons were growing up, there were age limits on certain games. I think Fortnite is one of them where you have to be a certain age, supposedly or allegedly, to play that game. I know that doesn't happen all the time, that people follow those age guidelines, but they're there for a reason. And I feel the same way with some of these AI videos. You have to be careful of what message you're trying to send out into the internet or social media or, for any public person to see. Um, some of them are filled with, pow pows. Um, they might be a little gory, some of the AIs that I've seen. So you really got to be careful what message you're trying to portray. So a lot of times, um, with these AI, I've done a couple AIs myself. And what I've done is I might upload a photo, okay? And one photo that I uploaded, um, I would say is close to 20 years old, okay? And just by uploading that photo, it was just amazing how I uploaded it into, I believe it was Sora AI. The AI app is called Sora. And when I uploaded it into Sora, it was just amazing how they actually grasped the moment of the actual picture, which was a still photo, okay? And they created a video out of it. And I just thought that was amazing. But it was something innocent, the photo that I did upload. It was a picture of my grandchildren dancing at one of my son's wedding. And so because of that, they actually captured, like I said, captured the moment of them having a good time at my son's wedding. So I thought that was a good interpretation. And so sometimes also, because it can pick up what what it thinks, I guess, because the intelligence will look at a photo or something and decide what to regurgitate, should I say, regurgitate the story behind the photo. But you also have to remember it is a computer. It's computer generated because it's artificial intelligence and it is computer generated. Okay, computer generated items are also commanded by a human. Okay, so you got to remember it's all programmed and commanded by a human. So because that is so, it's not going to be 100% right. It's going to be close, but it's not going to be 100%. because of course the faces were altered, okay, which I was fine with that. I didn't want the actual faces of my grandchildren to be on the video, but there was alterations to the faces. Another thing is that it will create its own storyline. You also have to remember that it will be close, but it's not 100%. So that's my takeaway with working with AI. Has anyone in the chat actually worked with AI on videos or at your job, or even maybe in a supermarket or something? Has anyone ever worked with AI? Anyone in the chat? Are you interested in trying to use AI? Because like I said, they have quite a few apps that are actually, they're free. Most of them are free. And if they're not free, they will have a period of time that you can use them that are free. It might have some cost to it somewhere down the line, but most of the time they're free. And they're not that hard to even use, which I was grateful for. Like I said, I only did the one photo, but I plan to do some more. I might even post another one today after I get off live. But you'd be surprised at how interesting that the projects, because they call them projects when you do work with these AI apps, is considered a project. And because it's considered a project, that's how they'll label them in the software. So, and once you complete the project, you will be surprised just how you will probably be really pleased with the results. Most of the time you will be. And it's I did some other I did a couple other AI projects that I wasn't too impressed with. So I didn't even release those. Like I said, AI is not, it's not 100%, of course, but it's close to it. And you have to remember, it is a computerized instrument, something that you can use as a tool. I don't know. I know the future for all this AI is it's advancing kind of quickly in a way. How fast they will implement it so they don't have to rely on humans. I think they should revisit before they go totally AI. Like I said, I come from the professional field. The field I was in is was scientific / healthcare, and we work with a lot of technology. I watch technology improve from the 70s to now. I remember when we used to actually chart things by hand. Now everything is charted by the computer. And I shouldn't say everything, but most things are charted. I worked in a laboratory. So there was a time we would have to actually take our results to the floors, to each floor, give them to the nurses on the floors, and they will put them in the patient's charts. Now, everything is done by computer. Okay, so they actually go from the results that we get in the laboratory are released into the computer, which automatically gets transferred to patients' medical records. All right, and they're getting so good now where um, the medical records are what they call universal. So you don't even have to be in the same location to actually get your medical records updated, which is quite that is just wonderful. And I actually worked on a project to upgrade um, some of the health systems here in the surrounding counties that I live in. So that was a great opportunity for me. I got to not only use the skill sets that I went to school for, but I also was able to enhance it with computer programming and stuff like that. And also, I enjoyed that kind of stuff. It's called, I was able to not only apply what I've learned to something, to integrate it with something new. So, yeah. Um, Technology has really advanced over the years, and I'm really happy to see it. Um, will it knock out humans like right away? I would hope not, because along with technology, unfortunately, will decrease the human workforce, and that is the part that I'm concerned about. Because if you decrease human workforce, then what's going to happen to the different people who rely on going to work, to make their, their finances for their households. Hey, MMG, how are you? What's new? Glad to see you come through. I'm not going to be on here long. I was just on to say hi and do you like? I would think your age bracket, you probably are really comfortable with using it. How do you feel about it? I was just discussing how watching AI come into play, because I've been interested. I like sci-fi. I'm a sci-fi type of person and technology type of person. And just watching it um, progress through the years is just so interesting. Um, and I was just wondering, you said who? AI, artificial intelligence, the computers. What do you think about AI versus the human? I was just telling them my concern about AI and the progression of the use of AI, how it will possibly decrease human workforce. That's my concern with the use of AI. Because when you think about it, you don't need that many people to program it. I know. I know. There's so many different apps out here now. There's ChatGPT, there's Sora, Canva is another one. Even YouTube now has an AI portion that's a part of their one of their apps. I think it's called YouTube Creation. And I've used it, but I'm not really, yeah, we are using it. You're right. But also, you got to remember the more we use it, the more we get used to using it, okay? Eventually, it's going to cut out the need for human interaction. And that is where the human workforce is going to be slowly decreased. I know I saw it in the field that I worked in. I worked in healthcare and in the science field. And it's gotten to the point, okay, like areas that I worked in where you might have needed, let's say 5 people to run an area, they are now down to 1 person. Okay, so that's saving four salaries, benefits, okay, and whatever else goes along with those FTEs. So you start decreasing FTEs, which means people are slowly going to be what? Out of jobs, okay? And once you start decreasing those FTEs like that, then what's going to happen with those people who actually need those jobs to maintain their families? Hey Pat, what's up? How you doing? So that is my concern with the advancement of AI. Another concern, okay, so you use ChatGPT, which is great. I use it also, okay? But you have to remember, someone had to program that ChatGPT, okay? So if someone, oh, I'm glad you're doing good, Pat. If someone programmed that ChatGPT, did they program it correctly? You got to remember, there's always human error. It's going to be human error because it's programmed by a human. All right? So a lot of times, you always have to be careful of the programmer. Who was the programmer? Where did they get their information? Is that information really correct? There's always going to be those, what do they call them? Things that will, can create errors, okay? There's always those items that can create an error. That's in any type of program. I don't care if it's AI, ChatGPT, because like I was telling them earlier, even though my degree is a scientific degree, I also did programming to integrate my scientific degree into updating the computer systems in the hospital system, okay? So we always had to have our checks and balances to make sure that the information that we were putting, first of all, you need someone to run the test. This is the area I worked in. Hi, believing you can. How are you? So far, it is a blessed one. Thank you. You need someone to run the test. Okay, that's number one. Then once the test is run, they have to make sure that the test was run correctly. Number two. Number three, that human had to put those test results into the computer. And number four, you have to make sure that the interpretation of that test has been interpreted correctly into the patient's file so that the patient's file, once it's into the patient's file, so that the doctor can understand and the patient can understand correctly the interpretations that were put into the file. If it's not done correctly, then that's where the problems can come in, you know. And like I said, this is like not just with, that's with healthcare, that's with, I'm quite sure the law offices, I'm quite sure all areas are now using AI/computers, you know, to make their jobs more efficient. But like I said, the programs in place have to be efficient also. So yeah, it's pros and cons to everything. And and those systems have to constantly be monitored. So what plans do you all have for this evening? I don't know how it is where you are. I know it's sunny, but it's quite windy here. How is the weather out there on the West Coast, MMG? Is it breezy or is it a nice spring day? Or has summer crept into the area where you are? Because I know some areas are much warmer than others. And did everyone have a great weekend? Oh yeah, I did hear it was raining in Florida, but it's nice. That's good. The worst type of rain to me is when it rains and it gets cold. You know, that cold rain. But if it's raining and it's warm, then that's great. It's not too, you know, you could deal with it. Oh, it's nice there. That's good. It's good. So everyone have a great weekend this past weekend. For all of those who celebrated Easter/Resurrection Day. Well, like I said, I didn't plan to stay long. Oh, that's great. I'm glad you did Believing You Can. I'm glad you had a great weekend and a blessed weekend. I did too. We actually have rain here on Sunday. Yeah, it rained really hard when we were in service. Yeah, but by the time we got out of service, the rain has stopped, but it was just gray. It's going to drop another 20 degrees, Pat. Oh my gosh. Oh, yeah. This temperature here, where we're at, it is so bipolar. Like today is a beautiful sunny day, but this weather, it is so cold and windy. It's really, really windy today. I was going to walk and try to do my live while I was walking. I went outside and I decided to, I went outside for a while and then I decided to come back in to do the live. Because I was going to sit outside and do the live because it was so nice out. And Florida is the same way. I'm surprised at Florida because usually this is the time of year I used to like to, when my children were smaller, we used to like to go to Orlando during this time period because it's warm, but it's not too, you know, it's not too hot. So I would plan trips in May. to take them to Orlando. But I'm glad everyone stopped through. Please consider, oh, it's 85, but 60 at night, I could see that. So please, if you're not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and hit the like button on your way out if you didn't hit it on the way in. And share it out to some of your friends. I thought the AI topic was a good one to talk about. And if I hear anything else going on with AI, I will definitely come back and let you all know. But I have to, I have an appointment coming up, so I will be talking to you later. And if you missed the beginning, please feel free to, or if you're watching it on replay, watch it and make a comment and hit replay and let me know that you did see it. All right, I'll talk to you later. Have a great day. Bye-bye.